From the AM/FM 24/7 radio network, broadcasting from AM and FM stations around the country. Welcome to the Small Business Administration award-winning School for Startups Radio, where we talk all things small business and entrepreneurship. Now, here is your host, the guy that believes anyone can be a successful entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is not about creativity, risk, or passion, Jim Beach.
And welcome back to School for Startups Radio. Again, thank you so much for being with us today. I am very excited to introduce you to my first guest today. His name is Lewis Howes. He was a professional athlete and got sidelined with one of those career-ending injuries, and he had to decide what to do with his life, and he has become a internet marketing, social media guru. He has a new book out now called The School of Greatness, a real-world guide to living bigger, loving deeper, and leaving a legacy. It's also the name of his podcast, which is very frequently in the top 25, 50 on iTunes. Gets about 650,000 listeners a month. Pretty impressive. He has also been recognized by President Obama as one of the top 100 entrepreneurs in the country under the age of 30. We are very honored to have you, Lewis. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thanks so much. I'm doing great. Sunny Los Angeles. It couldn't be better.
Well, fantastic. We're here on the East Coast and just trying to dry out from a little bit of rain we have had. So I'm envious of you there in Hollywood with the great weather. Everyone great? Is everyone capable, deserving of greatness, Lewis? If we were all great, wouldn't that make us all average?
Yeah. Well, we're all capable of greatness, that's for sure. It's a choice. It's a decision. And we get to learn and grow through breakdowns and adversity throughout the years. You know, when I was younger, I definitely wouldn't say I was living a great life. I was going through a lot of confusion. But as I started to learn and develop new skills, become more emotionally fit so that I could have deeper relationships, I was able to take the actions I needed to achieve what I wanted. And I think greatness is something I ask everyone what their definition is when I interview people, because it's different for everyone. It doesn't have to be, saving the world. But greatness for a mom who's got 2 kids could be, I want to have a deeper relationship with my husband. I want to have a deeper connection with my children. And I want to build something meaningful with my spare time to feel like I really am doing something with my life. So it looks different for different people.
Well, what's your definition then of greatness?
For me, it's discovering and maximizing the talents and gifts that we were born with, developing those gifts to reach and make the maximum impact on the most people we can.
Okay. So that's a very, very specific, very high desiring definition, to make maximum impact. As you said, the mother with 2 kids who just wants to connect with her husband, that's going to be a lot more than they're hoping for out of life then. So in your view, Lewis, greatness can be a whole lot of different things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're important, rich. It just basically means that you're happy. Is it a huge
It means you're
chunk?
happy and you're impacting the people around you to achieve their dreams. You're achieving your dreams. You're going after what you want. You're constantly in the question, the conversation, the growth of life. And through that living, you're inspiring and impacting the people around you. Based on your platform size, again, if you're a mom with a small family and you're hanging out with a small group of friends, that's your size of platform. That's your reach. And you want to make the biggest impact on the people you're reaching. If you're President Obama, you've got a global reach. So you want to make the biggest impact on the platform size you have and continue to grow with what you're comfortable with.
Okay. I like that. I can buy into that definition. I don't have any problem with that. How then can we achieve that? So what are some of the practical steps that you give in the book to actually go out there and do that?
Well, here's the thing. This may sound a little weird and something that people aren't used to thinking about right now because we're so overwhelmed. We have so much busy stuff, especially for entrepreneurs where we're focusing on a lot. There's a lot of moving parts, social media, our phones. The thing that we forget to do the most, in my mind, which is what I see, is we forget to dream, Jim. We forget to dream about what it is we want. And this may sound basic and simple and not new at all, but when was the last time, someone listening, when was the last time you actually sat down for 30 minutes, had zero distractions, maybe you're in nature, and you allowed yourself to dream about what your life, business, or relationships could look like if you could have anything? And if it didn't matter what your parents said or your siblings or the society said you're supposed to do, but if you could create anything you wanted in any area of your life, what would that be? I would imagine that a lot of people have not taken the time to do that lately. And most people are reacting to things in life. They're doing things because they feel like they have to do it or they need to, or it's because what someone else wants them to do. So one of the things that all these great minds that I've interviewed and people that I'm connected with who are achieving great things on a big scale, they have a very clear vision of what they want and why they want it. Again, not a complicated concept, but can be extremely challenging to do for most people who are overwhelmed with the day-to-day stuff in life. So you got to get very clear on what you want and why you want it. I give people an exercise in my book. It's called the Perfect Day Exercise. Essentially, what I want you to do is to take time to dream about what the perfect day could look like for you. Maybe you've already had it. Maybe you're living it now and you want to add new things to it. But just dream about what would you do in the morning when you wake up? Where would you be? Who would you spend your time with? Would you be traveling? What type of foods would you be eating? Would you be by the beach, the mountains? What would you be working on? Who would you surround yourself with? Dream and think about that and literally write it down. I think you got to be very open to writing this down and seeing it and giving yourself permission to dream. From there, you have a foundation of what you exactly want. And then I tell people with the second part of this exercise, this perfect day exercise, is to then write an itinerary down. So when I played sports, every practice I would go to, gym and football, we would have an itinerary for the day where I knew exactly what we were doing for the first 15 minutes of warm-up. We knew what was next, and we had a whole agenda. We didn't just show up to practice and say, okay, throw the pads on and let's throw the ball around and see if we can achieve our goals. We were very clear on the amount of time we were spending on each thing and knew what we were up to achieve that vision for the week in that game. So I think we want to apply some of the things that most people do in the sports world to get them to the Super Bowl and the championships. We want to apply that to our business and our life by setting up itineraries for ourselves to achieve those visions.
All right. I have some dreams, and I know that some of them are just absolutely foolish, right? I want to run a 4-minute mile. I want to go to Mars, right? Some of those I'm just never going to achieve. How do we differentiate, Lewis, between realistic dreams that we should write down and be willing to share with people versus dreams that are just simply stupid and that we are foolish to dream? Yeah. Are there foolish dreams like me running a 4-minute mile?
I don't think there's a foolish dream. I think you need to figure out what your why is with the dream. So, there's lots of dreams that, it could be cool to go to Mars. Yeah, sure. But I don't really care that much. Like, it's not a deep enough why for me to want to do that. A 4-minute mile, there's not a deep enough why for me to want to do that. Would it be cool to be able to do that? Sure. Is it a dream too? Maybe, but like, why? And I think you need to ask yourself, why do I want this? Why is it important to me? And how is it going to inspire me and also serve the maximum amount of people around me? I think when any dream is going to take time to achieve and be a challenge, and there's going to be obstacles to make it happen. And specifically, it's a hard dream. So are you committed? You need to figure out if your why, you'll be committed for 5 or 10 years to achieve that dream. A 12-year-old who wants to run a 4-minute mile, it's probably going to take him a decade to get there, to just learn how to develop his body, his training, whatever it may be, practice, and the habits. So you got to be like, why do I want this? Is this going to be important for me in 10 years? If so, okay, then I can start creating a game plan. But the perfect day is more about how you want to feel every single day. It's more about who you want to be surrounded by, how you want to feel, so that you can optimize your time and your experiences every day. And then you can start working towards specific goals you have in your life in that as well.
All right, let's take this into the financial realm. What if my goal is simply to make $1 million a year, and that's my dream, And the why is simply because I want to spend holidays on big boats, right? And have a movie star lifestyle and stuff like that. What do you think of
Sure.
that?
I don't think that's a big enough why. That's impactful enough. I think it's a surfacey answer. And so it's going to be hard to be committed to the work that you need to do, the energy, the effort, the grind that you're going to have to do. If you're at $0 right now and you want to make $1 million, you're going to have to work really hard. And if it's just to sleep on a boat during Christmas or have a Hollywood lifestyle, you may get there, but it's going to burn out because it's not a meaningful enough reason. And a lot of people burn out that way. Maybe they seem like they're happy or they're having fun for a little bit, but after a few years of that, they realize that they're exhausted, they don't have meaningful relationships, that they're not really serving the world, and something is missing from them. And usually people can't connect with those individuals, so they're not making the deepest impact from that way. When you want to make $1 million, it's got to be a deeper reason. It's because I want to serve, I want to get out of the hole I'm in, and I want to be able to make a deeper impact. I want to be able to have a comfortable, nice lifestyle. I want to be able to support my family. I want to be able to use this money to impact more people, to give back to certain things, to set up for my future, for my family. There's got to be a deeper, more meaningful why, because then you'll be committed to it. You'll get up every morning early. You'll stay up late to do the work, and it'll be that much more impactful for you and the people around you.
All right, I want to ask you about passion. I know that we've already been touching on it, but I want to take it a slightly different way. One of your quotes, one of the things that I found you saying was that life should be lived passionately, otherwise you're playing another person's game. Louis, one of the things that we argue on this radio show is that entrepreneurial passion is not necessarily needed, that you don't have to love the business that you're in. You don't have to love the product that you're in. One of the examples that I give is I used to own a purse and ladies' accessories business, made some good money from it, but I'm not really into clothing. I'm not a clothes horse. I'm certainly not into ladies' purses, but I am very passionate about the entrepreneurial lifestyle, the freedom that comes with it, the ability to work as much as I want or go play with my kids whenever I want. The opportunity. Is that enough passion in your world, Louis, or do I need to love purses to start a purse business?
I don't think you need to love purses to start a purse business, and you can still make a lot of money and have a lot of fun with it and be very profitable and give you the time and flexibility. I think it's that much more rewarding when you are passionate about it as well, because then you're thinking about it constantly. You're excited about it. You're more involved in it from emotional standpoint because you love it. And so I just think it's like, you can make a lot of money doing anything. It's easy to make money in a business, but it's more fun to do it when you're passionate about it. And I think we have one opportunity to live. We might as well do everything we can to have fun while making money at the same time and be passionate about what we're doing. Now, listen, I've built businesses and sold businesses. I sold them because I wasn't passionate about them anymore. So our passions may evolve. They may change. It may not serve us anymore. It may have served a certain thing we wanted, and now we move on to the next thing. So, it can evolve and change. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be passionate about it forever. I mean, I used to love baseball. Then when I was a senior in high school, I was so burnt out. I was not passionate about it anymore, but I loved it for so many years. So things change. We evolve. We have new things that we want to learn, and that's okay.
All right. I can certainly agree with that, too. That makes a lot of sense. All I'm passionate about is taking care of the kids and having a really good family life, and that, to me, is enough to make me say, hey, if I'm willing to run this business for 6 months and then I get to go to Disney for a week with the kids,
there you go.
The motivating fact of going to Disney World like Joe Montana did, boom, that's enough that really propels me. All right, so let's go back to some of the practical advice, right? We have gotten very clear about what we want. We've written it down. We've asked why we want it. Then what, Louis?
Then you got to start. I mean, for me, you got to understand that adversity is going to come your way. So when you're up to big things, you've got a dream, you've got a vision, and you're clear on it, there's going to be adversity. And the thing that you can do to set yourself up to win is have a coach. In my mind, as an athlete, there's no way I would have achieved what I had done as an athlete without great coaches. Sure, I could have done good and I could have gotten some great results here and there, but the consistent results over time would not have happened without a coach. So I've applied that to my business, to my life, my relationships, my health. I look at things as why do anything without support, without a team, without a coach, a mentor, someone who can give you the feedback to keep you on track towards achieving your dreams, your goals, your vision. So I would say next thing is to get a coach or a mentor to support you and a whole support team. This could be simply your family, to enroll them in what your dream and vision is and say, hey, I need you to help me be accountable for this. And I need you to give me honest feedback. And here's what I'm committed to creating. Can you support me in this? But trying to build a business without a coach or without a support team, I think, is going to hold you back some. Yes, you can get results. Yes, you can make a lot of money. But I think you could grow even more with that coach and support team. And you can get through the challenging times when you have someone to really lean on who's already been there and done that. So that would be the next thing.
Okay, I can certainly relate to that, too. I'm very fortunate that my father has been all of those roles for me. He has been the type guy that I go to, and so I'm really lucky there. However, I don't open up to him about my wife and our relationship, or there's certain things my kids do that I don't tell my parents about because I don't want them to know that my kids did something stupid, right? So how do we translate this into the relationship realm? How are you using this, Louis, to make yourself happier with your girlfriends, your boyfriends, the guys around you, your family, your sister, your parents? How do we use it there?
Yeah, it all depends on what your goal is. But if you're looking to develop deeper relationships, the key to success in life is relationships, in my mind. Because if we don't have relationships, what are we doing? What are we doing, and how do we get to create, our children if we don't have relationships? Or how are we going to build something if we don't have relationships? It takes people to live a better life. And the key to successful relationships, in my mind, is vulnerability and being real and authentic with people. And a lot of times we have walls. We protect ourselves with our ego, or we're defensive, or we react, or we get upset, as opposed to learning how to communicate in a loving way towards a vision and to meet people where they're at. So there's a whole chapter on mindset and cultivating a champion's mindset. And a lot of that has to do with understanding how people think, why they do what they do, understanding people in a deeper way so that you can relate to people, connect with them, meet them where they're at, so that you can both achieve your goals together. So I think it's important to understand all the things about emotional intelligence and about relationships, and we cover that in Chapter 3 on mindset.
I was going to ask you that about emotional intelligence. How does EQ fit into this? It sounds like a lot of what you're talking about is related very strongly to emotional intelligence. Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of researchers and people say that EQ is really the thing that separates the top CEOs in the world from the rest. Is they have a high EQ where they can really understand their own emotions and understand the emotions of everyone around them, their needs and desires. And I think if you aren't able to connect with people and understand people, then you are really going to struggle in life in every area. And it's all about us understanding people's desires, fears, needs, wants, and being able to flow in these relationships.
All right. Well, it's interesting. I'm preparing a talk on emotional intelligence right now for an event I'm doing down at Disney soon. And to study that and to think about the people that I know that I think have a low EQ is just absolutely fascinating. And I would agree with you. I think it's much more important than IQ, for example. How important is something bad in your life? You also write about adversity. You've lost a career because of an injury. Do you believe that adversity and having something bad to build upon is a critical element? Is it just something that's good for jazz music and soul music to write about? How important is adversity and how you face that?
I mean, adversity can either break us or have us break through. And it's our choice on how we want to move through adversity. Here's the thing: if we're up to big things, if we want to build a $1 million company or chase the girl of our dreams or try to run a 4-minute mile, there's going to be adversity. If we want to live a simple, average life, there's going to be a lot less adversity because we're staying comfortable. But when we keep growing and chasing bigger dreams, it's going to be challenging no matter what, because we don't have the answers, we don't have the skills, the tools. So there's a growth learning phase. And the thing is, you can either be held back by it, or you can move yourself forward and use it as part of your lesson. The greatest people in the world say that they, failed thousands of times, but that was part of the process of being successful. Those failures were actually just lessons of feedback for what wasn't working until they found a new way to make it work. And that's what it's all about. Those that are mentally tough and develop the champion's mindset can overcome that adversity and use it to their advantage.
All right. Well, Louis, unfortunately, we are out of time. I have my most important question now for you. I'm going to really put you on the spot. Mm-hmm. Who's going to be in the Super Bowl come late January, early February, whenever they play it this year, and who's going to win?
Patriots.
What team did you play for, Louis?
I played arena football in Columbus, Ohio, and in Alabama. Yep.
And does what Tom Brady and Belichick and all of them have done there in the realm of cheating bother you at all? Does it diminish Tom's greatness in your mind?
It's tough because it doesn't, because I think it's the stupidest thing ever. As an athlete, we would, doctor, pitchers bring out dirt and rub things on the ball to get more velocity and to trick batters. In football, we would pump the air up, take the air out all the time. Receivers wear gloves to catch the ball. It's like, should that be legal to wear gloves? There's so many things. There's new equipment constantly enhanced every year, for the cleats to the pads, the helmets. I think it's the stupidest thing in the world that they're focusing on that. And it's nonsense in my mind. So it doesn't diminish anything for me. Now, if they get caught that they lied about it and it goes to court and then it's like they lied, then that's something different about the character. But for them to be, penalized for whatever, essentially maybe taking air out, I think it's the dumbest thing in the world.
All right. Louis, your book is already available on Amazon, even though it comes out in a couple of weeks or so. About a week from now, it'll be available in Barnes and Nobles and all of those places. How can we follow you on social media? Where do you want us to buy the book? All of those important things.
Yeah, you can go to Amazon right now and pre-order it. It would be a huge. I would be very thankful for that. LouisHowes.com/book will take you right there. Or you can just go to Amazon, type in the School of Greatness, and pre-order a copy or two. And when you do, just tweet me at Louis Howes and let me know that you pre-ordered a copy so I can say thanks and connect with you over there as well. And then my website is LouisHowes.com.
Fantastic. Louis, I hope it sells 1 million copies for you, and thank you so much for being on the show today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.